project. Okay, we're going to be applying these guys in our FundMe project. All right, and then what else? Okay, before I forget, last class a question was answered and said, how do we manually set the size of an array? Okay, that's the question. I just hope the person that answered the questions in class. Okay, so how do we manually set the size of an array? All right, so if you look at this array, we have the size of this array is 10. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, which by index is 9, because we have starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Understand? Okay, so how do we manually set um the size of the array without going through all this? You understand? So that we don't start writing 1 to 50 or 1 to 100 or so. So you can do that by, let's just remove this guy, and I think I did that last class as well. I think I did that. So you say new, you define the data type, and then use your bracket, and okay, so use your bracket and declare it. And so you set the number list array to 50. Okay, by doing this. All right, so remember, if we don't have this, we just put our comma here, for instance, then we are saying that this is a dynamic array. Okay, we're saying that this is a dynamic array, and it can carry as many inputs, as many data as possible. But if we said equal to, that means we are saying that it's having this particular size, just setting the size. That means only 50 um stuffs can enter into this array. Understand? Only 50 data can enter. If we change this guy to address, that means only 50 addresses can enter into this array. Understand? So that's that for manually setting the size of an array. Okay, hope we answered that question. I will see how we use it in our contract as well. So we'll see it in action as well. Okay, so let's go back to our contract, our FundMe contract. And so this is what we've done so far. So let's just run through our code, what we've done so far. So we imported an aggregator from Chainlink, from a protocol, and then we declared it here by setting our price feed. All right. So what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? We created a mapping to, okay, right? We wrote a function to fund the contract, the fund me contract. Okay, and then in this fund me, we created an array outside here, address. Okay, so this address is going to be carrying the array of addresses of people that are going to be funding, that are going to be calling this contract. Okay, so the person that calls the contract is the message sender, that we said in our class. Okay, so we said that we set a limit of $5. All right, so for people that's probably skip, so you see that we have $5 here, but it's in 5 times 10 raised to power 18. That means we are writing it in way. Okay, we're writing it in, sorry, in way, right? Which is smallest unit of ether. All right. So we set our price limits to $5. That means you can't send below $5. It's going to be $5 and above. All right. So we make the requirement here in this funding and say that it has to be $5 and above here. That's the requirement here. And then we saved our message of sender, those that are calling the contract, those that are funding our fund me into our funders array. Okay. And then outside we created a mapping so that we can fetch our investors, our helpers, and how much they have helped us with. Okay, so if somebody fund us with $20, we can go and look at the address and get how much the person has spent as well. Okay, using the index. So that's what we did here. So this one is to push into the array. So this one is also for our mapping. Okay. Now, I want us to modify this line of code so that it will be long. If in when we are doing operators, what will be the answer to this arithmetic? If we say x plus x, okay, we say x is equal to x plus y. All right. You will say x is equals to x plus y. How can we rewrite this? So how can we write this? We can write this by saying that
Equals to y.
yes, somebody is saying something. How can we write this and make it very
I think
short?
x is equal to y.
Is that it?
What about x plus equals to y?
Okay, x plus equal to y. Oh, sorry, I'm putting. You mean this?
Yes,
Yes.
Absolutely correct. So if this is equal to this, you understand? So what do you see here in this line of code? Address to amount spent of message of sender is equals to address to amount spent of message of sender plus message of value. So that means we can actually, so this message dot value is our y, then our address to amount spent of message dot sender is our x.
yes.
Abi? Good. So that means we can just delete
Remove
this.
the other.
Yes, remove this guy and just put a plus here. Abi? All together.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me remove this guy. All right, so this one is going to plus this guy and add it back to address amount message dot sender. All right, so if What else? What else? So we are going down, and okay, this is just our test. This function is not functioning. So we wrote a function to fund, and that's what the fund will do. So we wrote a function to get price, and then we use our aggregator to get the price, and the price we are getting the price of the Sepolia ETH. Okay, that's the price we are getting, and then um using interface, this interface that we imported here. All right, so we we got the price, and we put it in our price feed. All right, now another thing we're going to modify here is that now this price feed, we declared it as a state variable, which we declared here as a state variable. Okay, now for us to make it more gas efficient, we'll remove it from here. Okay, so we'll come up put it inside here. And the reason why we are doing that is because if you look at the contract, there's no other place we are calling price feed. Understand? This price feed is only going to be used in this get price function. So what's the essence of putting it as a state variable when it can be here as a local variable? Okay, so that's that. And then we got our price feed, and then we said this guy is equal to this, and we are getting this latest rebound function from our aggregator v3 interface, turning this our answer times. And I explained in our last class that this guy is going to be returning us in 8 decimal places. All right, and the decimal place we are expected to have is 18 decimal places using our way. Okay, it's 18 decimal places. So for us to make it complete, we have to multiply it by 10 raised to power 10. Okay, sorry, 1 raised to power 10, and then so that we can, if you multiply it, it's going to give our answer. This one is going to be answer times 10 raised to power 8. This is going to be 1 times 10 raised to power 10. So if you multiply it together, it's going to be answer times 10 raised to power 18. Okay, and so it's going to be giving us in this decimal place, 18 decimal places, which I specified here. Okay, all right, so we wrote the function to get conversion. So the essence of writing conversion is so that we can convert our ether, our Ethereum to money, to real money. And we did that by doing a simple mathematics, writing a little mathematical logic to do that. Okay, so we said that we created a variable here, and then we equated it to our input. All right, so having done that, we created another variable here. Okay, we created another variable here, and we did the mathematics here. Okay, so we did the mathematics here, and so the earth price that we got from here, they will multiply it by the amount, and we divided it by um the the decimal place. Understand? So if you do that, we are going to be having a decimal place, and then we're going to, when you divide it by decimal place, it's going to cancel all other zeros, and it's going to be leaving us with the actual amount, like $20, $300, $5, and the rest. And we said that um the EVM doesn't work very well with fraction. Okay, so you hardly see something like 0.5, you can't get something like 0.5 and all that, 0 point something or 5 point something or so, something point something. Okay, so that's what we did so far. And then we'll be going into a withdrawal. But first of all, let us write a reusable function for let's make use of our interface. Okay, let's make it of our interface and let's see. Sorry, I said interface. Our library. Sorry, our library. Let's see. Now the reason why we are going to be using our library is so that we want every of whenever we call unit 256. Okay, whenever we call unit 256 is going to let me see. Okay, so whenever we work with 256, it's going to be using our function. It's going to be working with this function, okay, this get price function as a type or kind of like a class. All right. So remember how we used our library here, okay? Remember how we used our library here and how we called our library here. All right. So we're going to be doing similar thing here. All right. So first off, let's create a file. Let's create a file. So I'm going to call this file price converter. Remember Wallace command. So this command copy here. So I'll fix that error shortly. So come to funds converter and then paste. All right, so we are going to write in our library. Yeah, we're going to calling it price converter. Remember we said that libraries don't have state variables. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is that we're going to come to fundme. All right, so these are the functions that converted those our this thing that did the conversion and the rest and the rest and the rest. So we're going to come here and just copy from here like this, and I want to copy it, come to our price conversion. I'm going to paste it here. All right, so we're going to ignore this for now. Cover the code. All right, I'm going to paste it here and then run and see. Okay, we have some errors. Okay. All right, undeclared identifiers. Then I get okay, fine. Now we are going to be importing. Now when we run this thing, we see that we are having error. We are having undeclared identifier. That's because there is no aggregator interface here. We've not imported our aggregator interface. So we are going to be moving our aggregator interface from here. Okay. I'm going to be moving it from here to our library. Yeah. Let me just close this guy so that. All right. So give us some space. Okay. So that takes care of that. All right. So now we imported our aggregator and then everything here. All right. So we just change this our visibility to internal. You know the work of internal. So we're going to change the visibilities here to internal. Okay. All right. So now we've set up our library. All right. So let's use it in our FundMe contract. Okay. Let's use it our FundMe contract. Let's see how it works in our FundMe contract. Okay. So first of all, we are going to be importing our library. All right. So the name of our library is price conversion. Let me just copy it. I don't want to be typing. Let me just copy it and all right. So it's price conversion. That means we are using the name import. So we're importing from price conversion. So remember to put your slash. All right, so that we don't fall into temptation. Okay, so now having imported, okay, so we want to make this guy work here. All right, we want to bring it here. We want to bring our library here. Okay, so how do we do that? Remember when we bring in our contract to say our contract is this. Okay, so when we bring in a contract, we use the keyword is. So when we bring in our library, we use this keyword. Sorry, excuse me. All right. Okay, we use this keyword using this guy. Either in 256 or you in any of them. All right, so what does this mean? It means that you telling me contrast that wherever there is in 256, you are using this library for it. You are using this library to call as a type for anything you in 256. Okay, so that is us bringing our library. into our contract. Remember, we didn't do all this during our last class because everything was in one file. All right, so we'd have to bring it in. Okay, so we bring it in like this, and let's run this, and let's see what we have got. Okay, so oh sorry, this is closing. All right. Okay, so we brought in our library, and then we can now work with our library. Okay, so whenever whenever we use at Unit 256, we are using our library. So let's work our functions so that it synchronizes with our our library. Okay, so let's synchronize our library with our function. All right, so if we no, don't know, come in and see. See what remix that ID is doing. Code that we ran last last class that was running very well. It's not flagging error. Okay, so we are going to be getting these guys out of our code soon. So all right, any error. Now, for the sake of this class, this guy is correct. Okay, I don't know why it was flagging error. Let me just do it again. So, all right, this guy is correct. I don't know why it was flagging error. Last class we ran this code and it was okay. Sorry. I know where the problem is coming from. Okay, so um I wonder why nobody actually saw it, and let me see if I have the same issue here. Okay, all right, let me change this guy to 16. Here's my phone. All right, we've been deploying our contract with a very old version. All right, so let me deploy this guy. And let me deploy this guy. All right, and you see that they have a problem. So let's just come here and change our guide to 16. Run it, we are all good. Run it, we are all good. All right, so okay, so the reason why we were having issue was because we were running our contract in a very older um in a very older version. Okay, let me see. Hmm. Okay, let me just comment this guy out for the sake of this class. All right, so okay, we have been able to bring in our library. All right, so let us create an array. Okay, we already have an array called founders, and then we have uh our mapping that maps our founders to our amount spent. All right, so let's write a loop that iterates through this through this what's it called, through this array of that was created. Okay, let's write our withdraw function. So we'll be doing that with our withdraw function. All right, so we'll be writing a loop. Now what we want to do is that we want this loop to iterate uh through our array. Okay, I want it to access the address and give us want to access the address using the index. Okay, remember we created this array so that can store addresses. All right, so want to first of all um loop through and get the index through get the address through the index through its index, and also get the amount that that particular address has funded for us. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we do that? Okay, so let's go straight into it. All right, remember what we how we wrote our loop when we were writing loop in our first class. Okay, in our last class, sorry. All right, so we said that a loop has an initial. All right, so you set up a loop like an index. You set up your index, and then you set it. Okay, and then secondly is that you set this index, okay, to be less than, sorry, less than the array dot length. Okay, less than the length of your array. Now I'm assuming that our array is the name of our array, and then lastly how index is going to how the loop is going to be working. All right, so this is the format. All right, this is the format of setting up our loop. I'm just bringing us into remembrance. Okay, like I'm just reminding us for the sake of our last class how we set up our loop. All right, so we're going to be setting up our loop like this. Okay, so I'm going to be setting up our loop like this. All right, so this is the array we are working with. All right, if you look at the only array that is here is this address founders array. Okay, so definitely we are going to be creating our array. So let's call this guy we're going to be creating an index. So let's call this guy fund index. Okay, so we're going to set this guy to 0 as I should. Now, remember our index is fund index. So we're going to call fund index. And what's the name of our array? Our array is what? Funders. So it's go here we're going here is going to be funders, Abby. Funders. And then our index is going to be fund index. Okay, so we'll be able to set up our loop. Now you see that what we did in the first class is still the same thing with this. It's just different naming convention, but the setup is still the same. All right, so we are looping through an index, and so we said we call the index fund index, and so set it to 0. All right, so say this fund index is not going to loop above the length of funders with the array we are looping. Okay, and it's going to go one at a time. That means one after the other, one after the other. All right. So now in this curly braces where we are going to be writing our action. All right. So we said that. Loop is a method of iterating through data and thereby taking actions through the iteration. So here's where we are going to be writing our code. Okay, here we are going to be writing what this loop is going to be doing all together. So first of all, we want to get access to the funder address. You understand? We want to get access to the funder address using the index. You understand? And so how we're going to do that? All right. So we're going to say funders of the array. You understand? And then funders of the index. All right. So we're going to be bringing this index guy just the way we used to to get our index, still the same thing. All right, so we're going to be getting our index, one index. Um, all right, so now this guy belongs to what? So this guy belongs to what? And this guy is of this array. So we're going to be saying funders is equal to, all right, and so what data type is of address. All right, so get it. So let me let me let me store this guy. All right, so with this we can use this index to get addresses stored in our array. Understand? We can use this index to get our addresses stored in our array. If you confuse, always go back to our class we did on arrays. Okay, so and subsequent classes we have been using arrays, we've been doing something like this as well. So all right, secondly, we want to reset our array to 0, so that after we iterate through it, okay, so we set it back to 0. You understand? So we want to set it back to 0. Okay, we want to set it back to 0 after the loop. All right, after the loop, set it back to 0. So we could do that by just saying that this guy, um, our mapping. All right, so say our mapping, because that's what we are using to get the price. All right. And say mapping. Okay, so what have we done? So what have we done? Okay, so what have we done? What we've done is that we we iterated um through um this guy funders array, all right, and then we fetch the address using the index of funders. Okay, we get this address using the index of funders, and then these funders, the address are addresses in the funders array. Okay, and then here this one is the mapping that we wrote here. Okay, and then we set it to 0 using the funder array. All right, so that when we loop through, okay, when we loop through, we get the index, and then we can we can reset it to 0 after withdrawal is completed. All right, so after withdrawal is completed, the 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 array, which is the matching, is set to 0. Remember that this functionality is written under the withdrawal um, function. So after the withdrawal is being completed, everything is going to be reset to 0. Our array and um our mapping is going to be set to 0. Now we are going to be resetting our array to 0 outside this loop. Now, the question is going to be, why are we going to be resetting outside this loop and not after resetting here in 0? It's like when you are writing a function for search, all right? So what this loop is doing is like writing a search function. You understand? So you are like searching out for this, you are searching out for that. It does not affect when you are withdrawing. You understand? When the money is out. So in this function, we are still going to be writing, we're still going to be resetting our array. You understand? We're still going to be setting our array, this array here, just this array here to 0. Okay, this array here. We're still going to be resetting it to 0. All right. For the meantime, just know that after the search, okay, and after withdrawal, we are using this for loop to research it so that when somebody search again, you understand, it's not going to be giving us what is not there. Okay, sorry, excuse me, let me ease myself.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hope we are all understanding.
Understanding what?
When Mr. Samuel come back, if we should tell him, because this thing, I'm not even honest. I'm just seeing code flying up and down. Christabel, you joined 1 hour late. What happened?
All right. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Um. So we, I said that this one is for the search. All right. So we can just come here and just manually reset it here. And that is equal to address. All right. So after this, okay, after the loop, we'll set it to 0. All right. So after the loop, we'll set uh uh array to 0. Okay. So let me see if all right. Sorry. All right. So I haven't said and I haven't done that and I haven't done all these things. We've still not withdrawn our money. Okay. We're still not withdraw our money. So our money is still here. Okay. So let's write it for let's write um let's withdraw our money. Okay, let's withdraw our money. Now there are 3 ways you can write a withdraw function. All right, there are 3 ways you can write a withdraw function. You can use transfer, you can use send, and you can use call. All right, so I will not go deep into these guys. Okay. Is kind of a little bit advanced, but it's not something you can't understand. It's something you can understand. All right, I will drop a link to um a Medium post that explains the differences between transfer, send, and call. But for the sake of this class, I will explain to us the differences between transfer, send, and call, and which of them is recommended. All right. So now their syntaxes are different. They have similarities and they have differences. Okay, let's take for example, let me use call a transfer. Okay, in transfer, you can just write transfer and the address you're transferring to. All right, so use this keyword this. So what this keyword does is that this keyword is calling this contract. All right, so this refers to this particular contract. So you are withdrawing from this particular contract. Okay, and you are withdrawing from the balance in this particular contract. You get. All right, so first of all, we have to make this guy payable. All right, so somebody has to um implement the contract. You understand? Somebody is the one um calling this contract. So we said that the person calling the contract is our message or sender. Abi? So we're going to say our message or sender um dot transfer. All right, I'm going to make this guy payable so that now there's something I want to say. There's something we called um typecasting. So typecasting is changing um the variable type. All right, it's a way of changing a variable type from one variable type to another variable type. All right, so when you say um um payable in bracket message of sender, you know that message of sender is of the type address, you get, and payable is of the type payable. Understand? So when you typecast it like this, payable in bracket message of sender, you are changing this message of sender to address payable. So this becomes the new type for, excuse me, this becomes the new type for message of sender, address payable. Okay, so that's what um typecasting does. All right, so you can go and read about typecasting after this class and just look at it and read about it. All right, so this is the syntax for writing withdrawal for transfer. Okay, let me just remove this guy, yeah, so that will see it. All right, so this is the syntax for writing withdrawal for transfer. All right, so let's write. One thing about withdrawal for transfer is that the gas the gas for transfer is, all right, so this is the gas for transfer. Is static. All right, if there is an error, all right, it's going to throw back a reverse message. It's going to throw an error. Understand? It's going to throw an error and then it's going to revert. All right, that's what is transfer. That's what this transfer does. All right, it returns an error. All right, so just like bool, just like transfer, um send also uses 23,000 gas, okay, as static gas. You get, so it's written like this, payable dot message sender. All right, this is syntax. All right, the send address this dot balance. All right, so that's it. But the difference between transfer and send is that transfer returns an error when the transaction is not successful, while transfer reverts the transaction is not successful, while um, send returns a Boolean message, yes or no. Okay, the transaction did not go, it's going to return false. If the transaction goes through, it's going to return true. Okay, and so it's going to return true. So this guy is going to be bool, send success. All right, so it returns bool, okay, and it's going to, if the sending is successful, it's going to return true. Sending is not successful, it's going to return false. All right, so for you to add more security to this, we can write a check, a requirement check. All right, so we can say that if if it's successful, what did I write? Oh, this you not success. All right, so if it's successful, it should go through. Otherwise, it can bring and say that send fail or sending fail, whichever one suits you. Okay, so this one is to second check and then return an error message, an error. While this one just return the error, you don't have to check, write a check for this guy. He just return the error for you. While this one returns the bool, or you can write a check for it to return the error like this one. So this one too has a static gas of 2300 to 3000. All right, so that's it for send and transfer. You don't have to understand this completely, okay? You don't have to understand this completely. You can always go and read about it, all right? And secondly, the more you um, read, the more you use, the more you understand. The more you practice, the more you understand. So that's for send. All right, so we have the last one is call. All right, so call is a little bit more ancient because what call does, call is more dynamic, call is more free altogether. Call is more dynamic, call is more free. We get call is more dynamic, call is more free. Why I would say that call is more dynamic is because call can call any function. All right, you can use call to call any function. And one, secondly, call does not have a static gas. You understand? Call is dynamic. That means you can set your own gas limit as well for the transaction. So most persons use gas, and security wise, um, call call is more prone to reentry. Is it reentrancy attack? Yeah, reentrancy attack. Than send and transfer for the recommended is call. Now, why is call recommended? Although send and transfer is not prone to reentrancy attack than call, but you can still write a check in call to prevent that. All right, you can still write in check. You can still write check in call to prevent that. If you write the the call function very well, you don't have to be scared of reentry attack. Okay, so write our payable, the same thing. Dot message sender.
Sorry, did Mr. Samuel leave the group or it's just me?
I think he did though.
Shit. So sorry. So sorry. I thought I was connected ever since. Hear me last.
Sir?
I said, where did you hear me last? When did I leave this meeting?
A very long time ago.
Is that what?
A very long time ago.
God. What was I talking about? Like, here was I.
Call.
Call.
Yes.
Oh God. Shit. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that I have not been on this call. I have. I've been talking to myself. I tried opening a link. That was when I realized that um I have not been on this call. So sorry. So sorry. Okay, so um I said that call, the difference between call and the rest of them was that call is dynamic. Okay, I said that call is dynamic. I also said that you saw me when I was writing this code. All
No,
together.
no.
You didn't see me when I was writing this code. Shit. So I said that okay, I said that um call returns boolean outputs like the same way with um send. Okay, so you can actually write a requirement to return an error, just like the way we wrote requirement to return error in send. But the only thing is that okay, Boo has a static gas of 2,300, not 23,000, 2,300. Same with transfer, but call is more dynamic. Okay, call is more dynamic. I said that um, because of the uh, static gas requirements for transfer and send, they are not prone to recurrency attack, but call is prone to recurrency attack because of its dynamic nature. Okay, that means you can set your own gas. All right, unlike send and transfer, you can set your own gas. And also, call is very, very powerful because call can call any function in your contract. You can use call to call any function in your contract, and it will it will go through. Okay, so it's very, very powerful, and it's recommended, is the most recommended to use than send and transfer. All right. Like I said I was going to send a link for us to a to a post. All right. Just okay. Let me just share my screen so I will we'll just read through it together. So they said that okay, transfer receive smart contract should be fallback function defined and else transfer call will throw an error. This is a gas limit of 2,300 gas, which is enough to complete transaction operation. It is hard coded to prevent reentrancy attacks. Okay, so we said that it returns an error, throws an error. So say send works similarly to transfer call and has a gas limit of 2,300 as well. But this time it returns boolean as this one returns error. This one returns boolean. Okay. I would say that call is recommended way of sending it to a smart contract. The empty argument triggers a fallback function of the receiving address. Okay, so using call, one of also triggers a function defines the contract and send a fixed amount of gas to execute the function. The transaction status is sent as a boolean as well, and the return value is sent to the data variable. Now, this is the I was writing data variable. I wrote a data variable here, and I think I was writing a data variable, but I removed it. I just wish we were Okay, so here I wrote a data variable here. All right. So I wrote a data variable. I called it what did I call it? I called it data returned here. All right, so it was the bytes. It was in bytes memory. All right, so this is what I did. All right, so I only said that once the status and not this data rebound. So I removed it and just left the comma there. All right, tells Solidity that oh something is here, but we don't need it. We just need this guy. All right, so that's it. All right, so you could go and do more read up on it and get an understanding. Like I always said, it's not compulsory for you to understand it yet, but the more you read about it, the more you try to play around with it, the more you understand it. I'll just comment this guy, okay, and let me just comment this guy. And so we're going to be using um the call method for our withdrawal. All right, going to be using the call method for our withdrawal, and let's see it. Error. Am I getting dots from? Here's this error. This error is showing an empty space. I've committed again, and so it's supposed to be having an error. Okay, so okay, sorry, it's supposed to be an equal to. Okay, so let me see. We expect comma of a string data. Yeah, am I getting it? Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So I think we're good. Okay, so so far what we've done so far is that we've iterated through it and we'll be able to get our our helpers their contract address and how much they spent. I'll be able to withdraw. Okay, we'll be able to withdraw from 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 our contracts. Okay, so let's do one more check-in before we call it a night. All right. So let's do one more check-in before we call
A
it a
lot
night.
of reactions.
I didn't get you. Say what?
A lot of reactions, mixed feelings everywhere.
Ah, sorry, I didn't join with my other guy that's giving me info fast reaction. So I didn't know. Sorry about that. Probably when I come back and view this thing again, you will all repeat your reactions. Sorry. Um, if if you if you don't understand, It's okay. It's very, very okay. All right. If you don't understand, it's okay. You get it. If you don't understand, it's okay. But like after this class, you should go back to it again. That's why I said you should come back. You should come to class with your pen and paper. Okay, you should come with your pen and paper. All right, so that you jot things down, and if you want to copy the code, it's very okay to copy the code, right? And write the code. All right, try to understand the code, try to read the code. Codes are read, you understand? Try to read the code and say, okay, what was this compared to what we've done in our previous class? Sometimes the things that we do in this class, they are they are things we've done before. It's just how it's applied and naming convention that differs. Still the same thing. It's still the same thing. Okay. So all right, so lastly, if we run this contract like this, you notice that anybody can anybody can deploy this contract, anybody can withdraw our money. Okay, anybody can withdraw our money. As long the person can click the withdraw button, the person will make do with our money, we go away with our money. So how do we ensure that how do we ensure that um the person withdrawing our money, the money is us, or the person that has the contract, that initiated the contract, the person needing help? Okay, how are we going to ensure that? All right, so we're going to be creating a state variable. All right, so let me just create state variable here. Let me create state variable here. So we're going to call that variable owner. All right, so I'm going to create an owner variable, and so this owner is going to be the person that owns, that can withdraw. All right, so let's make this guy an address. So the owner is going to be an address. All right, so we're going to check. Yes, sir. We're going to check if um first of all, now there's something we learned about before now, and it's called constructors. And so we said that a constructor executes before the contract is being executed. I don't know if you can remember. Eh? We said that a constructor executes before the contract is executed. It initialize the contract. Okay. So we want to initialize the contract so that the person calling the contract, especially the withdrawal contract, is the function, is the owner. Understand? So let's write a constructor. Hope you know that constructors are functions as well. Am I spelling this thing correct? Yeah. Hope you know that constructors are functions as well. So we're going to say that owner is equal to the person that's withdrawing our money. Okay, so we'll go with this without have any issue. Then we can come here and write a requirement in this withdraw and say require require owner to be equal to message dot sender, and then we can write an error message and say we can say a thief. Oh, we shouldn't be that rude. Okay, we shouldn't be rude. So let's write another message. Let's say um only owner. Does this go well? Sorry, owner. Is this English correct? Or let's say let's must be owner. I think this one goes. All right, so let's say this guy. All right, so what we did so far is that we said that now remember when I said that the person deploying the contract is the message sender. All right, the person deploying the contract. So if I deploy the contract, all right, if I deploy the contract using um my um MetaMask. Okay, I use my MetaMask wallet and then I use account one and deploy this particular contract. Okay, it is that address that deployed this particular contract that can withdraw from this particular contract. So that address that deployed the particular contract becomes the message sender, becomes the owner, sorry, because that address is the message sender. All right, that that account, that address that deploy the contract becomes is the message sender, and we said that the message sender is the owner. Okay, we deployed the owner here as a state variable, and then we said that this owner is, so once you deploy the contract, the work of this constructor is that once you deploy the contract, it saves your address, the address that deploys the contract, it saves it to owner. So it makes that particular address the owner of this particular contract. So once you want to withdraw, it checks if the owner is the message sender. So if this owner is equals to message sender, which is going to check if this message sender is the message sender that is in this constructor. If it's not, it's going to revert. But if it is, it's going to send. All right, so you can deploy this contract. So you can test this contract using your injective. All right, we're not going to be testing it in class because it takes a while. It's going to take a very long time. All right, it's going to take quite some time, which we don't have in class. All right, but in our next class, I'll definitely show us how it works. But even before that, you can write it and see how it works yourself. Altogether, so far we wrote basic things. We wrote a function to get price. We wrote a function to convert our Ethereum to USDT. We set our limit to $5, and then we wrote a function to fund our contract, so our contract can hold the money that everybody is going to be donating for us. And then that's what this message of value does. It shows the amount, okay, and then we wrote function to get the price, which we used here as our library. All right, we wrote a function to get price, then wrote a function, and this price is we got this price from an oracle, Chainlink oracle. Okay, so this is the aggregator contract address that fetches the price for us. All right, so we wrote a function to convert uh, our Ethereum to to dollar equivalent. Okay, so and then we made it a library so that it can be reused. All right, so you wherever you see US, sorry, UN 256 is using our get price. Okay, whenever you see UN 256 is using our get price. All right, because we said here that um get price is UN 256. So in this contract, UN 256 is getting its function from our library here. You understand? So we are reusing this particular function, that particular function here. All right, so that's it. And then we wrote a withdraw function. Okay, so that we can remove our money. But in that function, we're not just ungrateful to just remove our money. We want to be able to see people have donated for us, that have funded us, and how much they funded us. Okay, so that after we withdraw our money, all right, the array we created to store people that have funded us will be 0. Okay, so after we withdraw our money, there will be nothing in the array, so that when new persons donate money, it starts counting again. All right, so that's what we've done so far. And then lastly, for us to make it a little bit secured, we um we we created a owner. Understand? We created owner, and then excuse me. Okay, so sorry for that. So said that you for us to secure, so that not everybody can just withdraw from our wallet, from our contract. Okay, we created owner. All right, and said that the owner is message or sender. We created the owner here, but we decided we are specific here by saying that this owner is message or sender. All right, and so we said that this message or sender, the owner should be the the contract address, sorry, the wallet, the address that initiates the contract, that deploys the contract. That address should be the owner of the contract. Okay, so that's what the meaning is here. So that once you deploy the contract, this constructor works immediately, and so that when you check it here, it's going to be checked. All right, so now, I want to say something very important. You don't have to understand it 100% here in class. It's not a guarantee that you understand it here in class. Okay, so but I want us to go back and look at it. If you want to write it down, write it down. If you want to, okay, this night I'm going to send this code towards this night. All right, the funny code, the updated code, and then the library as well. So you go back and look at it. All right. So you understand what it is. Now let sorry, and also very important when you're writing your code, you write your code to you comment your code. All right, so let me just comment this one so that when you are reading through the code, you understand. At least I can give you insight on what the code is about. So we said that this owner is um the All right, so this one is to all right, so that is it. But we know what message sender is. Okay, so this one is to function to add funds to our contracts, and also to set transaction limits. So minimum transaction. Okay, so so here we say a lot that has happened here. So we said that to withdraw funds only by the owner or deployer of the contracts. Okay, so yeah, we can say to fetch contributors address and how much donated by them. Okay, so um so that's the overview of these contracts. Okay, so that's that. So far, any question? All right, so let me help us. Let me help us. I know there's no yeah, you can ask question, but let me help us.
Help us.
Let me help us. All right. For a start, I'd like you to copy the code. Even if you have the code on your laptop, on your Remy's ID, have a piece of book, have a book, 80 leaves, 40 leaves, or whatever. Have a book. Copy this code. Copy it in your book. All right. And just look at it. copy the code and just look at it. Secondly, if you don't understand it, I think in this class I was open enough to tell us how we can use AI for our advantage. Okay, how we can use ChatGPT, how you can use Find. Find is my recommendation. How you can use Find as an advantage. So you can copy a block of code and go to Find and said, I don't understand this line of code. Okay, I don't understand this line of code. What do you think? You understand? Please explain. And it's going to give you an explanation on that line of code. Understand? Don't use ChatGPT to cheat when they give you assignments. That is you stealing your own food. Understand? Use it to understand and not to cheat. You get? uh So you can. There are some things I mentioned in this class you don't understand. You can go and read about it. Like last class we talked about libraries. How many of us read about libraries? Even if they've not uploaded the video or they did not post the code. I just mentioned library. We talked about library. How many of us go back and read about library? How many of us go back and read and read about loops? Understand? Find knowledge. Go for it. Okay. I know you don't have to understand in class, but you should not come back the next class the way you left the previous class. Okay. So that's it. You don't expect it to be when we were talking about operators and those further small elementary things. Yes, Bila, you have question. When I ask my question now, you will not answer. Answer your question.
Good evening, sir. How you doing, sir? How is everything, sir? Hope
Mm,
everything's.
mm,
I
no.
tell you, I have questions because I didn't even know what question to answer. I just wanted to ask, like the material that you think would be best for us to like go ahead and read, maybe documentations or probably material that you know that okay, this would guide us and as this probably this example of something that would walk us through. If there is any that you advise us to go for.
Okay. For materials to read, materials to go through, I think Medium is your friend. Um, Stack Exchange is your friend. Um, Fine, we give you these materials. Let's say, for example, let me show you how to use AI to your own advantage. Let me let me show you how to use AI to your own advantage. Okay, let me just load and let me share my screen. Okay, I'm not teaching you to be lazy. I'm just want to teach you how to make these things to your own advantage. Let's say I am All right, and so it gives you example, and you can even ask follow up. It gives you suggestion of follow up questions, and you can even ask follow up questions here. All together, and then look at resources by the end where it gets its information from, and then you can.
But I said this find is not free now.
Is that what?
He said it's a paid app, right? It's a paid website or something.
That's the problem. I keep saying that we come to class, we don't listen. I told us that find is a free resource, just like ChatGPT. Although it has its own premium side, developers must chop, but it has its free side that you can you can use. Although it has a limit to how many questions you can ask and how many follow-up questions you can ask as well. But for a start, it will help you. If you're not comfortable with Find, you can use ChatGPT. If you're comfortable with ChatGPT, you're not comfortable with Find, you're comfortable with ChatGPT. Very well. ChatGPT will help you as well. Will give you the answer to those questions. So if you think you're 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 not comfortable with those guys, yeah, go for ChatGPT. Understand? So that is it. Any other question? All right. Are you raising your hand?
Yes, sir. One more thing. I wanted to ask again. Sorry. Please. Under what topic or what will I call this? Is this because I don't know, maybe if I'm to search for anything like particular, under what topic are we in? Like under like probably the whole thing we'll be doing is under maybe I don't know, maybe swapping, maybe under I don't know what we'll call it now.
Oh no, 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 no. It's not under anything. Now let me also say that um I mentioned I last class I talked about loops. So you should learn loops and know how to apply loops in your code, at least the basic, okay? And then you should know how to apply, um, for example, um, how to work with array. Understand? How to add, how to add to array. You get how to add to array, how to how to call arrays, how to set arrays. That's one. Then secondly, we talked about constructors. Let's say for example, we've talked about all these plenty things. Understand? If you go and search how to write a swap, how to write a contract for swap. If they give you the contract for swap, will you understand those things? You will not. So why not learn those fundamentals? Okay. It's like I play drums. So when you are learning drum, when you are learning how to play drum, they teach you rudiments. They teach you those paradiddles, single strokes, and the rest. Okay. The most complicated drum feel out there is made up of those rudiments that every beginner can play. You understand? So the difference between a beginner and the advanced guy is not the rudiment, it's the application of the rudiment. But you cannot apply it very well if you don't know the rudiment. That's why they call it fundamentals. You understand? I would have just started by teaching us how to do this. You get, but if you notice that while we are working through this contract, if there is anything that I've not taught that I feel is going to be a basic something, like it's basic that you should know, I will pause and then treat that particular stuff before continuing the contract. Understand? So while you are going on at it, the most important thing is the fundamentals. In any skill at all in life, the most important thing is the fundamental, not the whole contract itself, not even writing side chain or whatever. No, the most important thing is the application of these fundamentals. If you know how to write those, you don't know how to write loop. Yeah, you can copy the contract very well and memorize the contract, but you don't know how to use loop. You don't know how to manipulate loops. You don't know how to use arrays. You don't know how to use constructors. How to use libraries. You don't know how to define your own type. How to create your own types and the rest modifiers and the rest. All this, it will not still help you. You get all those big things will not stay up. It will get to a point where it will hook you because you don't have a fair grip of the fundamentals. All together. So I've given you the hack. I've made life very simple for you. Go and practice. Go and work. Tell me yes.
Sir, I would like to give you a suggestion. Can we skip Friday's class to be able to go over everything you've done? Because I feel like Thursday alone is not enough time to go over everything we've done in like two classes back, like, and also like learn and use other resources before we move forward into more things.
Okay. Let me end the video. This video is getting longer. Sorry.